Welcome back to another episode of The Get Up Girl. I am your girl, Joanna Vargas, and I have the pleasure of speaking with Ashley Ramos. Let me give you a little background about Ashley. She is one of my clients, one of my fitness clients as well, and she is a special education teacher. And Ashley, you have such a really cool story, like a comeback story. So I want to say thank you so much for being here, and how are you?
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. I'm doing very well. I'm on summer break. So
Summer break from school.
yeah.
How does that feel when you get that as teachers, right? And you're just like waiting for that, I guess, line to cross, that finish line. What does that feel like?
It feels like we can finally process everything we went through in 1 year.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a very hard year to teach in distance learning. And for me, I really wanted to focus more on taking care of myself because the end of the year is very like hard emotionally and like physically on your body because we're cramming everything to finish for the end of the school year. There's graduation, all kinds of stuff. So it's mainly like, okay, how do I restart my buttons? How do I refresh myself? Get back into being ready for summer school pretty much.
Ashley, when you were teaching before the pandemic and even in person, did you feel that crossing that summer finish line was difficult already before?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was it was difficult because you have so much that you want to accomplish, and then you always like gear off to something else, and you get lost in translation, you get lost off track and stuff. So you have to just kind of like don't expect you to do 1,000 things because you have all this time, but focus on like 2 to 3 things that you want to do. Yeah.
What was the hardest thing teaching distance learning?
I think that connection that we want in person, we strive for that as teachers. Like that's the most rewarding feeling to see them learn and like have these teachable moments in person. And we didn't get that same experience. Like you can go in the classroom and you might have a hard day and get up and go to work and you see the kids and it's just like,
this is what I do.
Yeah, and it's super rewarding. And that was something that me and the teachers really faced. We miss the kids. We miss seeing them person, high fiving them, doing all those connections with one another, both emotionally and physically, because we're together, we're a group, we're a community.
Yeah, Ashley, as a teacher, I've never taught kids in that nature, but I've taught kids in dance, adults in dance. I know that feeling when you're like, oh gosh. And then all of a sudden you see your clients, you see your students, and everything, you're like, everything I thought before is out the window. I love them. I love this. And you're back in it, right?
Yeah.
So having that, or maybe as often, what kept you going this past year?
I feel like as a leader, I lead from the back and I want to take a step back. And if my teachers, my fellow teachers are feeling really low, which happened a lot, I just want to be that cheerleader, that spirit person for them. Because yeah, even though I'm facing it, this is my family, this is my community. I have to raise them up too. So even though I'm experiencing as much, when I saw them do that, I was like, you know what? I need to support my team. I need to be there first. So taking steps, back to helping everybody else, that's just me by nature. I want to make sure everybody feels good before I feel good. And that's just because if my teachers are not feeling like positive or just, hey, I can get through this, we always need that coaching, that little pep talk. So I like providing that for them, especially. And we had a lot go down. We had a lot of hardship, each one of us in our own unique way. I mean, I did lose a staff member during the school year, and that was a huge deal. We lost a good friend. He was so young, he was 29 years old. And other people lost their family members and they still have to wake up and teach. And that hardship really you may not see it on Zoom, but we were doing every day, like giving our best every day. for sure. So I like to lead from the back and just kind of bring everybody together, and that's what I try to do as much as possible.
What's
Hmm.
some of the fallout that you've seen, or I'm going to say like after the year and a half?
Hmm.
I kind of want to call it this word, and if you have a different word, Ashley, let me know. But like almost like post-traumatic stress. Like, what is the
Hmm.
latest, the end, the fallout that you've noticed?
I feel like it was a lot of Zoom fatigue that increased like mental health, like that balance for to have positive mental health. It was really hard for a lot of teachers and our staff because they're constantly being pushed on hours in the front of the computer, and you're not outdoors, you're not experiencing, certain things, and then by the time you're out of work, you want to go to sleep, you're exhausted, you don't want
You
to do
wanna go
anything.
outside.
There was no there, it was so hard to find a balance if you didn't force yourself or enroll yourself in something or take a class or kind of like,
Yep.
do something to, you know, take out that mindset, because I always have to do that. I have an hour after I go to work after work just to do that
Yep.
because I can't do anything else. I have to like really take everything down, and it was very hard. I want to say, yeah, the balance between your mental wellness, um, and just trying to find time for yourself, but you're so exhausted from that Zoom fatigue. Hmm.
Ashley, how are you getting back on track? Because myself, I feel like such a different person than I was last month, that I
Yeah,
was January 1st,
yeah,
2021, that I was a year and a half ago. Like this Joanna is so completely different. There's got to be 4 million shades of Joanna in the last year and a half, where I normally don't have that many shades of her. And
yeah.
I really want to dive in now. Is that your computer?
I think to get back into it, I feel that spending time with the people that are close to me, that support me, that have a very, just that build me up, having that support system. I know we talk a lot about it, but honestly, I talk to my friends, some of my family members, at least, one day, every day, someone different,
Mm.
or make time for them to like eat together or have a FaceTime, just anything, honestly, even if it's coffee, because just that support and talking to someone, it helps me a lot. It does. And it's really nice to know that I could go to multiple people to vent, to talk, to cry with, to like listen to songs, to dance with. And like, I think that's really important. You have to find your support system, and really, really, really pick people who are for you, not competing with you. You know, that's really important, especially right now. Like everybody's so wrapped up sometimes in like social media trends and things like that. Like I have to look a certain way or something like that. But I think just to be yourself and just being is so important. And I feel like I really needed to like be okay with not accomplishing 10 things in one day, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and rest too.
Well, how are you getting back on track with routines? I
With
do want
routine.
to talk about that. So let's say
Yeah.
go on vacation,
Hmm.
because, and I've said this several times, because when I heard it, Ashley, it like
Yeah.
clicked, especially with fitness,
Yeah.
because one day can turn into 1 week, and that
Hmm.
1 week can turn into 1 month, and that 1 month can turn into 1 year, and that 1 year can turn into 10 years, like that.
Hmm.
How do we get back on track so that one day doesn't turn into 1 month? It's almost
Right.
get back on, get back on. And I've been such an advocate of that. And I'm noticing that I've lost certain milestones
Hmm.
from this year and a half, because that year and a half came overnight, right? And
Right.
I was working out more often, because I'm still working out, but I was doing it more often, like
Hmm.
last year. And I was like, okay, it's that I'll get back on. And all of a sudden, it's almost July 2021. How do you get back on track with your routines after you go on vacation or any little setback happens for you, Ashley?
I feel that since I'm a visual person, I like to have like a dry erase board or a calendar, something where I can track like what did I do that was positive for my body today. So
Mm,
little by little, so I'll do, hey, I drank water. I
yeah.
took my vitamins, I did these, I ate one anti-inflammatory meal today, or I drank, less caffeine today, or something like if you track, like we always like talking about the habits and like what habits we do. If you track what you, or just begin with those little things, like I did this for my body and I'm recognizing it and I'm putting it out there so I can see, visually see, like, wow, I did 3 or 4 things. You know what? Tomorrow I'm going to do 5. And then I'm going to keep up every day. And I feel like that really helps me go back. It's like you layer it. So every week you're adding something. That's how I do it, because if I do it all in one, I feel like I end up getting off track right away. Like I
Yes.
can't do all these things together. I have to slowly layer it on.
Similar to compound effect. It's like
Yeah.
you're compounding that one day you keep adding, keep adding. So what you
Yeah.
actually, is this a calendar or is this just a straight whiteboard and do you keep adding or do you erase or how does that look like?
Yeah, so it's a dry erase, like Monday through Friday, little board, and I have it actually divided by like morning, afternoon, and evening. So here are the things I did Monday evening, or yeah, Tuesday, Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, and Tuesday evening. So at least I'm doing one thing, throughout the day, because I think one thing that we look at, like, oh, tomorrow, oh, I did bad today, so tomorrow I'm going to get back up again. But if we look at it as like quarters in the daytime,
Yep.
like the first 4 hours, or the first 6 hours, every 6 hours, we're like, I'm going to do good at this quarter of the day. This quarter of the day, I'm going to like kind of rest. And then if we look at it that way, it's not so big, it's not so overwhelming. And we can still have a good day
Yeah.
and make good choices.
Because what I do now, I added this to my layer, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
At the
Yeah.
end of every day, I say, what's my favorite moment of the day?
Yeah.
I pick the favorite moment, like that 1 second. And now what I
Mhm.
layered on top of that are my wins. And I'm like, what are
Mhm.
my 5 wins? So I'll ask my boyfriend,
Yeah.
or whoever's with me at that evening, or, I'm out to dinner. Okay, give me a win for today. And like you
Yeah.
said, it'll be so tiny. It'll be like, I took my vitamin C today. Cool. What's another win? Because first, when we started this, it was like, okay, what's a win? And we were thinking of like these big, grand things. And then I got really small. He's like, oh, okay, I get it. They don't have to be these huge, huge projects, just little wins, little wins, little wins. But I like how you broke it up into the day, parts
Yeah.
of the day, quarters of the day, and writing it down. The thing that I'm not adding is the writing it down. That completely changes everything. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
add that. What about when, well, no, I'm going to change this because I want to tell your story a little bit, Ashley. You have changed and transformed your body. You have, said goodbye to some weight or a lot of weight and really changed, gosh, everything. I mean, from your personal life to your physical life. Who were you before? And then how did you get to where you are now?
Gosh, I feel that I was in the beginning. I feel like I was um, trying to find ways of feeling okay to say this is what I want. This is what I want to wear. This is what I want to look like. This is what I'm going to choose for myself. And those things were very difficult to kind of just think about, because I've always given to others. I've always given more in previous relationships. I've always put myself last, right? So the hard thing was to make those choices for me and accept that me time comes first before everybody else. And I've gotten to a point where it's like, you know what? Yeah, I could change my schedule, rearrange it for this person or this to attend here, and I'll just rearrange it. Versus now, when I say, you know what, I'm not going to do that because this is more important to me right now, and I'm going to take that because it's my time, and that's how. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I got into this mindset of choosing me in a very healthy way. And I'm very, very thankful for it because I have literally been able to redo my whole wardrobe to make me feel like these are clothes that I want to wear. This is what I want to look like. I'm feeling great, you know. So yeah, it was really hard because I didn't have a lot of confidence. I may have seemed very confident or just open, but I was not. And I feel that the more I chose time for myself or worked on myself or reflected on things that I wanted, I got into more confident modes and more things like, yeah, I want to take this on. I want to challenge myself. I want to do this. I wanted to do so much more after I started working out. And it was just like, I could do a lot of these things. Like I've never done a marathon. I've never done these things. And now I'm like, that would have never occurred in my head or thought about it. And now I think about those things.
Mm-hmm. Ashley, what came first? Did you work out first and then start to feel good? Or did you feel good first and then start working out? You get what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah. So slowly what I actually did, I would journal and I would work on meditation and then brought in the working out and the eating and then put that all together, right? And so yeah, definitely thinking about my choices that I wanted to make and writing them down and then taking the action and doing the action and then seeing where that led me was like, because I'm the type of person where I did something and I didn't celebrate it right away. I just kept going.
Okay.
And then now I've taken time like, oh, I worked out today. I did great. Like I burned these many calories. Whereas like, it's just like, no, you just keep going. It doesn't matter. Like it felt like robotic, you know?
Yeah. There was no time for celebration.
Yeah.
I feel like I've fallen into that little trap, I'm going to call it. Yeah. And I can't even see where that happened, Ashley. Yeah, so I do want to share my story. I'm like, I'm falling into the trap where I stopped celebrating, and I was celebrating before, and I'm like, I wonder if it's happened during this past pandemic where I didn't even realize that it again. The one day turned into a year and a half, and I'm like, I'm not celebrating anymore. What's up with this? So I like what you said. I just wrote down journal.
Yes.
That's one thing that I did stop doing. I did stop journaling.
Mm-hmm.
And again, one day not journaling turned into how many days not journaling? And then so you wrote it down, and then you took action, and then one thing led to the other. Yeah, because I've been very curious of like, what is this without Ashley wanting to like beat myself up or go into shame and like, you should know better, Joanna, you teach this stuff, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, wait, what if this is a gift, Joanna, so that I can lead others or whatever you're saying. Like, I like what you said, Ashley, leading from the back.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Really, really like that. That lit me up. I'm like, leading from the back. I don't have to lead from the front because I'm not in the front right now. I'm not in that season where I was in that season before. I was that, let's go, girl in the front.
You are, and you're the same way. I feel like I would love to make the lights of others come out and support it and guide them, right? And guide them, but not from the front, like being behind them, because leaders are also behind you. It's that visual thing, and that you're always there to bring out others, like the light in others. And it's a special gift. It's a special, feeling and how you support other people. But if you're that person for them, like you'll understand. You'll definitely feel happy to provide that for others.
Yeah, Ashley, do you feel like you shine brighter for them so that they could then shine as bright? Or do you find yourself them shining brighter and then you're able to shine brighter?
I think that when they're shining brighter, I feel like, I'm going to shine brighter, because I feel, if it's my friends and they're feeling a certain, they're feeling like, I'm feeling myself. I feel like good today. And it's like, yeah, it's that energy. It's going to pump me up. It's going to make me more positive. It's going to make me feel like, you know what, I can do X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to do it harder. I'm going to go do this, and that's a great feeling.
Mm-hmm. That is a great feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, let's I would like to know from you, Ashley, what is one tip or one tool that you use when you fall and you got to get back up, and maybe it's a bad day at work, or maybe it's something even bigger than just a bad day at work. What's one of the things that you do?
I like to go away from the city, or just at a nature center, or just to center myself, go on a hike somewhere away from, like, very loud sounds, and just kind of like venture out and just like allow myself to just be in nature and to think and hear peace. That's what I look for. So I leave and I'll go to a garden, or I'll go hiking. And it's not even like a rigorous hike. It's just maybe to a spot. Like, I go here in Sierra Madre, and there's a spot where there's a bench and you could sit on the bench. And it's just so peaceful. And I feel like that's kind of like, my sanctuary when I need it. And I don't need any influence. I don't need to hear anybody else. I just need to hear my mind, and kind of like smooth out the thoughts and take out the negativity and just kind of reset. And that's what I do. That's something that I enjoy doing.
I really like that. In case anybody watching or listening, Sierra Madre, we're from the Los Angeles area-ish.
Yeah.
So California, Los Angeles, great hiking spots. Some people say California is the best, but yeah, Sierra Madre, if you ever hear, really good spots. So when you go out in nature, like you said, you like to just be quiet, be with nature. Are there any other things or tools that you like to do? Because there's one thing, Ashley, that I like to do when I'm in nature. I like to talk to trees and plants and all kinds of stuff in my head. I mean, I don't do it out loud because they might think I'm whack job, right? But I'll look at a bush and I'm like, oh, you're my favorite. And then I'll look at that tree and go, oh, you're my favorite. Look at that rose and go, oh, no, you're my favorite, right? And you could just it's very childlike, the way kids talk to things. So anything of that nature that you do, I'd love to hear it.
Oh, geez, I think, besides being in nature, you know what I do love? I love going to a really good farmer's market. And I love like smelling this is so silly, but like I love smelling fruit and like produce, and it's just the feeling that these people grew it in their farm, and to support them and like bring it to, like that whole farm to table thing. It's just the best feeling. It is. Like, if I bought, it, versus going to like the market and picking it and not seeing who you're buying it from, but you can converse with others, you can talk to them. And honestly, that makes me feel like having such good, strong connections with them. But it puts me back in a place, like, to humble myself, to remember, like, don't take things for granted. Things take time to grow, and then you can enjoy them. And you have to be patient. And it just makes me feel like, that's just like the connection I have with the farmers market. I know it's like cute and trendy for some people, but I think it's just so beautiful to like see all the community come out, and like we can benefit from one another and these, resources. But it's just so awesome. Like, I love going out there.
Thanks for that reminder, because I don't go to my farmer's market as often as I'd like, and I didn't see it the way you said it right now. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah.
So different.
Yeah, my grandpa was a farmer, and he taught me how to grow a garden where everyone else was playing video games as a kid. And so like we grew corn and tomatoes and radishes and all kinds of stuff in the backyard. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
But I think that appreciation growing up makes me appreciate all the things that I purchase, for when it comes to food. Like, I have a better understanding, appreciation for that kind of type of work, and just the love and appreciation for farming.
It's like a full circle. Like, I like
full circle. Yeah.
I forget, as I'm eating apples, I love my apples. Yeah. I forget that I'm like, this was once a seed.
Yeah.
it's almost like looking at yourself, Ashley, in the mirror, and you're like, one time I was this big. I
Yeah.
was as big as a sperm, right?
Yeah.
You're like, wow, that's a miracle. And then
Yeah.
apple, this watermelon was a seed at one time, a
Mhm.
full circle, and now it's going to nourish my body. I forgot to look at it like that. My body has goosebumps right now. So I know
Mhm.
I'm receiving the awareness. The
Yeah.
questions I've been asking, because actually I've been asking my body a lot of questions lately.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I'm on the 40 millionth version of Joanna. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think this time, like we're in summer now.
Yeah.
Um, we have so many awesome. I mean, I feel like I've built so many memories during summer. Things about my grandparents that I miss or I remember as a kid, and like summer brings this really nice feeling of nostalgia. Like
Mm.
maybe wanting to watch The Sandlot on 4th of July, or like
The Fourth of
wanting
July movie. I
to
love that.
yeah, or like cutting up watermelon right after you're out of the pool, like,
Yeah.
not cubes, but like literally the hand size,
Triangles. Yeah.
right? And just those things where you're like, man, I remember when I was a kid and I used to love having like potato chip sandwiches, and it's like sounds so silly, but it was just like, man, if I just eat this, like it'll make me like have this throwback and memories, and it's really beautiful, and something like a farmer's market does that to me, going out in nature, riding my bike,
Mm.
especially riding my bike. Me and my grandpa used to take 2-hour bike rides when I was younger, and he was in his 60s doing this. And I was just, it's just those feelings, and I really love summer. I'm a summer baby, so it's
Mm.
going to be a good summer. It's going to be good.
Wow. Thank you for that tip. I
Of
am going to
course.
take that and see my food in a completely different way, because actually I'm not really a foodie. I mean, I love food. I love to
Yeah.
eat, but
Yeah.
I'm it's not a make or break for me. I'm just,
Hmm.
I love a good taco. I love a margarita and things of that nature. But I almost see food sometimes, and this is unfortunate, but it's almost like I just eat it just so I could keep me alive, kind of thing.
Right.
And I use it
And
almost like a tool instead
yeah.
of a gift.
Hmm.
And so I'm going to remember that. Really going to take that. And I hope everybody listening as well is going to take that
Yeah.
as well. What is one big thing that you've done in order to get back up and transform your body? Besides all the
Mhm.
things we're talking about with the food right now.
Yeah.
Again, little tips and tools,
Mhm.
tricks. Do you want to say that again? Tricks and tools, because actually, I think sometimes it's not as granular as we think. Like count your calories and do this. It's like, yeah, we know
Yeah.
all that. But sometimes, Ashley, you can hear somebody say that one little nugget, just like you did for the farmer's market, and it hits me. What else do you have with food that helped you transform your body?
Well, I taught myself pretty much how to cook, and I love to cook, and I love seasonings and spend money on olive oils, and just like there's this sensual sensual thing that I have with food that I really appreciate,
Mm.
and it's helped me learn, like, not every vegetable is maybe your favorite. You might not react the same way to a green bell pepper than you would to asparagus. Like, it's just very different. I think paying attention to the type of food that I put in, and like kind of like take a note after, like, oh, my body felt this, my stomach felt this. Because yeah, we can look at our bodies like on the outside, but on the inside, we also have to keep in awareness of how it's reacting and how we're feeling after. So I kind of used to note that. I used to know, oh, I ate this and this made me feel good, or I ate this and I felt like a little gassy, and we're not going to do that again.
Yep.
But like,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Very good at that now. Uh-huh.
But like this whole idea of like playing with your food and like finding different flavors, and like, because yeah, it does get boring when you have to eat healthy, and if you're not constantly updating yourself or looking at menus or different recipes, or going on, finding resources to change it up, I think you'll get very bored. Like, I learned how to incorporate chickpea flour and beets and like all kinds of different things that you would have never thought of, like, right off the bat, because everybody's like, oh, chicken and brown rice, that's what's up.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. So
I'm trying to remember what you said. You said love affair with your food?
It's like a essential, yeah, it's like essential thing that I have with food because I'm making it myself, I'm doing this, preparing it with like a lot of love for myself, or even if I'm cooking for others. I just have this really like sensual way of using food, and it's more about like textures, like using the five senses, really, like when you see it, when you smell it, when you feel it, how does it make you feel? Those things are really important to me when I think about food. And sometimes it gets you in trouble because like the comfort food and the I want sweets and I want to feel better, or the emotional eating. But it's for me, like it's more about like the quality and the quality of the food. It's the quality of life in me, and it's just I've heard a lot of foodies talk about stuff like this, and I just really that resonates with me, like the bond that you have and the connection that you can have with something from the ground or from the earth, and you put it on your table and it nourishes your body. It's such a beautiful connection and just relationship. It's different.
If anybody's just listening, you can't see my face right now, but I'm having a lot of awareness go off right now, because I've been in a lot of questions, like a lot. And number one of the theme of the questions, Ashley, I have been lately is about my body and every aspect of my body. What would it like to eat? What would you like? What information are you giving me? I mean, you name the question and I've been asking it. And sometimes I'll get the awareness quickly. The one that I just got right now, the 2 was about enjoying my food, but so much more than that. So much more than that. Because I stopped enjoying it. And I wonder if it was because I was eating at home for the last year and a half and not going out. So I wasn't able to have the other senses as much in the experience. So I forgot that. And I wonder if anybody else listening was just eating because you're at home and because it's just monotonous and not sharing that environment of eating. But to look at it the way you said, Ashley, the textures of the foods, everything else. I never saw it that way.
What it looks like,
what it looks like and how to.
I mean, if everything is beige on your plate, are you gonna like what? I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's just like you think about the aesthetics, you think about the taste, you think about the smell, and you think about how it feels on your tongue, how it feels if you're handling it. Like there's just many things, and I feel like that's important for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so good. On your tongue, so good, because I was just thinking what was going to be the result of this food.
Yeah.
Phone. Yeah, somebody's calling you. But yeah, I was talking about the results of the food, but not enjoying it. Woo, that was so good. I hope everybody else is listening as well.
That's why it's like it's the essential bond with food. It's the essential bond, and it's more than
writing this down.
Just eating a meal
with food. Fantastic, brilliant. This is my big takeaway. Ashley, give us one big like tool or tip or takeaway that you have when getting back on track that you haven't mentioned already. Somebody fell off track, maybe for them, again, like it's been the year and a half, or maybe it's only been a week.
Yeah.
How can we get back on?
I think there's things that I do before I think about like what I'm going to plan to do for the week. And it's usually like maybe a Saturday or Sunday. This is just me, but if you do something that's similar, this is awesome. I love when I wash all of my laundry. I have clean towels, I have clean laundry, I have clean sheets.
Yes.
I have a restocked fridge ready to get delicious food. Just those things, going and doing that, completing those tasks, make me feel good. Like having a clean apartment with all the clean sheets and laundry and everything, and a stocked fridge, that I am so grateful for, and it makes me more motivated to get in that habit and keep going and wanting to have a good week and plan for a good week because I'm ready. Everything's ready to go.
That's a habit, and I think we've talked before that I created. Yeah, right. Where you said that, and like Sundays, those are my days now. Where before, Ashley, I would work 7 days a week, and my house was a complete mess. And I had an aha that my food is now replicating or mimicking the way I used to treat my house.
Okay.
Where
Yeah.
the house was just in order to just shelter me.
Mm.
And I never took pride in my house. It was like, whatever, I'll wash the sheets later, I'll wash my clothes later, and everything's just in disarray because
Yeah.
what came first was work.
Right.
And from the year and a half, I learned how to like fall in love with cleaning my house, fall in love with washing the sheets,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so my takeaway from this is, how can I create that with food the way I created it with my house? Because right now food is in order just to keep me alive. Like the
Yeah.
house was just there in order to keep a roof over my head. Wow. Such a great takeaway. I have
Yeah.
goosebumps all over because I know if I created it with my house and it's an environment, the food is my environment.
Yeah.
What can be created with the food? Wow. Thank you for that awareness because I have been asking for a while, Ashley. I'm like, where are you? Because I'm like out of ideas. I was so out of ideas and I was trying to, I guess, solve it with my cognitive brain and there was no more answers. I'm like, Joanna, you know this, you do this for a living. And you're like, so thank you for that. Wow.
You're welcome.
Ashley, anything else? Where can everybody find you on Instagram?
On Instagram, yes, Ashley's bed, and yeah, it's I'm happy to talk with anybody about health and nutrition, and if you can teach me something, I'm open to it. Cook together, learn together, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, follow Ashley on Instagram. She posts some fun videos and again of her cooking and making it really fun. So
Yeah.
it's unreal. Ashley, I appreciate this. And you are so inspirational and such a light, such a lighthouse for people. And the possibility, right?
Yeah.
Of what can be created, of what can be changed and what can be shifted. You're a true possibility and inspiration. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Joanna.
You're very welcome. I appreciate you. Thanks everybody for listening. Tell us on Instagram takeaways. And if you had some ahas like I did, I want to hear all about your food. You have a sensual relationship with your food. Love you all. And until next time, remember to get back up.